What's going on YouTube? Josh here checking in. It's been a while since I've posted a video about deadlifts, so today we're going to get one. And the topic is basically sumo versus conventional deadlift, which is right for you. So first off, I'm going to say that I personally pull sumo simply because I compete in powerlifting, and when I was struggling with my conventional deadlift where my form was basically breaking down to the point where it was potentially dangerous, I was basically just trying out the sumo, and I found that I was able to maintain a much safer form with heavier weights. And soon thereafter, I found that I was actually stronger in the sumo deadlift, so it worked out for me. So basically, the moral of the story is, if you are a powerlifter or you intend to compete in powerlifting, you should simply deadlift the way that you can lift the heaviest and the safest. End of story. Now, if you're like the majority of my subscribers and you're the majority of people who are at gyms just lifting weights, you're probably not competing in powerlifting. But you probably are looking to get stronger and maybe add some size. So then which deadlift is right for you? Well, this isn't exactly a cut and dry answer. It's going to depend on many factors such as your mobility, your limb lengths, what your particular muscle strength and weaknesses are. But in general, I tend to recommend the conventional deadlift for beginner lifters, people with, say, less than about 2 years of experience lifting weights, and their goals are simply strength and size. In general, the conventional deadlift will tend to target the posterior chain a little bit harder than your sumo deadlift, meaning your hamstrings and your lower back. The lower back, it just makes a lot more sense because your starting position compared to the sumo deadlift tends to be much more parallel, where your back is closer to that parallel position as opposed to more upright as you see in the sumo deadlift. So as a result of that, there's going to be much greater strain on that lower back. On that note, one aspect of the conventional deadlift that I think is really important for beginner lifters to learn is really proper bracing of that core. In order to do a relatively heavy beltless deadlift without too much rounding of the back requires a lot of core stability. And learning that skill of bracing your core with the conventional deadlift has a lot of carryover into the other big lifts, particularly the squat. Now, if you want to start toying around with the sumo deadlift and you've been lifting for some time, there's really no downside to that. Of course, it's going to target muscles a little bit differently, where you'll have a little bit more emphasis on the hips and a little bit less emphasis on the low back. But the concern is due to the fact that there is a lower range of motion, right? You're moving the bar less distance, that therefore you will not be able to activate muscles to the same extent and maybe see some decreased gains. I really don't think anybody's done that study to see if there's a noticeable difference. And I can say that anecdotally at least, there's plenty of people who use the sumo deadlift as their primary form of deadlifting, and they don't really have any issues in the areas of strength or mass. But then again, most of these individuals are people that have a fair amount of experience lifting and a fair base before they moved on to the sumo deadlift. A few other things to consider when looking at both of these movements are basically your mobility and your limb lengths. So I'm not going to go into the details of the varying limb lengths and torso lengths and things of that nature, but suffice it to say that there's going to be one lift that you're going to feel more comfortable with, and it's probably going to be due to your body size and secondarily due to your mobility. One last thing I wanted to mention is recently there have been a few people in the powerlifting community that have actually gone through the recent world powerlifting meets to look at basically which weight classes are utilizing the conventional versus the sumo deadlift. And basically the results showed that the bigger weight classes, so for men generally above 90 kilos or about 200 pounds, there was a preference towards conventional, and then in the smaller weight classes there was a preference towards sumo. So, maybe if you're a smaller guy and you're currently pulling conventional, could you potentially pull more sumo? It's certainly possible. And really there's only one way to know, right, if you try. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to post in the comment section below, how do you pull? And what is the reason why you chose your particular stance? Also, if you guys have any questions or you need any clarifications or anything that was mentioned in the video, please be sure to comment below. I'll be sure to get back to you guys. Now, one last thing before I let you guys go, I just wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Anil from back home. He made me this shirt, the Strength Doc shirt for my birthday, and it's really sweet, so I just want to say thank you, Anil. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next video.